Have you ever thought when you're watching Doctor Who, the one thing that this needs a little bit more of is Ken Dodd, green babies, and Welsh people? Because if the answer to any of those questions is yes, then you would love Delta and the Bannermen, broadcast from the 2nd to the 16th of November 1987, written by Malcolm Cole and directed by Chris Clough. I love Delta and the Bannermen, and I've mentioned it many, many, many times on this channel as it's an episode that makes me laugh. I don't think necessarily intentionally, but it makes me laugh and it makes me smile. And if I'm ever in a bad mood, I can put this on. You've never seen that before until we just watched it.
No, I'm probably going to need to see a therapist after that.
That is therapy.
That is therapy. Okay. It is crap. The story is crap. The story is god-awful, but it's so bloody funny.
I completely get, because I wouldn't say it's like, it's. I can objectively look at it and go, there are definitely a lot better stories that you can choose to watch.
Yes.
Are there as many that make me howl with laughter as much as this?
No.
Not many.
God, no.
One or two. But this is so unintentionally hilarious. The thing is, I've got the point, I don't know if it's just, if I'm blindsided by the fact that I'm just used to being entertained by it, or if I genuinely do think that there are, genuinely, objectively really good bits to it. I think I can see why people might look at Delta and the Bannermen and go, no, that's rubbish. Because there are episodes where I think people say that and I'm like, no, I don't get it. I don't see how you don't like this. And like vice versa, I don't get why so many people like one of the episodes. I can't get my head around it. Whereas this I can look at and go, yeah, I get if people were to go, this is terrible. What on earth is this? I understand that completely. But.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Can you try and, in simple layman's, can you try and break down the plot for us? What just happened?
Delta is a woman queen thing of alien people with green toy soldiers. I think the babies, and she has a green baby, which that is just bloody hilarious in its own. We'll get into that. She's being chased by the Bannermen who want to kill her. The Doctor's shown up somehow and got caught up in this because he went on a holiday cruise thing with an old 50s bus.
Because Ken Dodd waived the toll fee.
Yeah, so Ken Dodd's at the toll is a ticket man. And they're going to Disneyland but wind up in Barry Island, Shangri-La.
Yeah, in the 1950s, because they get knocked off course of the satellite that two CIA agents are also in rural South Wales looking for.
Yes.
It's like such a coincidence, everything. It's like, right, so it's coincidence that Delta happens to get on that bus to escape that is also then knocked off the satellites by these CIA agents. The Doctor then travels and then manages to restabilise the bus but lands them in Wales. And I mean, Ken Dodd, for a start, is really good in it.
Yes. He dies as well.
I know, it's actually
so
quite sad because Don Henderson as Gavrock is genuinely, I think, the only person in the whole thing that plays it straight, and that includes McCoy and Bonnie Langford. Yeah. I think even they're going, yeah, this is a bit of a silly one, this, isn't it? But Don Henderson plays it completely straight. Like, he's chewing the scenery, and at one point, a large leg of lamb, I think, raw.
Yeah.
But
that was a choice.
Can I get one thing out of the way that I really genuinely don't like about it?
Go on.
The fact that Agent Weissmuller of the CIA says that he's phoning from Wales in England. Wales is not in England. Wales is a separate part of the same geographical space, but it's its own country with its own border. Wales is not in England.
It's like saying Mexico's in America.
Yeah. You wouldn't say France is in Belgium.
Oh, it'd be the other way around.
You wouldn't say Belgium is in France. So why is Wales in England? Come on. Sort it out.
Yes.
Don't ever do that again.
Yes.
But anyway, I love the fact that he's calling out of a real police box though, because it's clearly the same prop that's the TARDIS. It's, bad, falling to bits. Looks like it could break at any second. A strong gust of wind's collapsing there.
Health and safety would have a field day if they existed back then.
Yeah. But
I don't think a lot of Doctor Who from back then would get okayed if health and safety were around,
This is very true. But I do find the CIA agents very funny.
Oh, God.
Unintentionally so, but they are the comic relief in a story that is already a comic,
It's just when they get tied up by the neck and then they're like, oh, crap, does this mean we can't sit down? And then that's their thing. It's like, oh, we're okay now. We can sit down.
And I love
What the
the
hell?
setting of Barry of all places. Like, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily explicitly said to be Barry. They say it's South Wales, but it's Barry. It's all filmed in
Yeah.
Barry. It's all one of those horrible, like, holiday camps that people were subjected to back in the day. I honestly, I would be handing myself over to the Bannermen if I had to spend one night in that place. I mean, I'm looking at it laughing at it, but like the dinner gongs and everybody sitting down and having a dinner in the canteen to get no. That is my idea of hell.
I take it you never went to like PGL and stuff as a kid.
Closest we did was Kiln Park, which is in
Yeah.
Tenby, and that's a static caravan park. But like that was good. That was good fun. That was not being woken up by a gong
Oh, I
and
weren't
stuff.
woken up by a gong. It was rowdy camp leader people just like banging a drum and stuff, going, "Hey, get up! You got abseiling to do." I was like,
Madness.
"Yeah, I know. Just get me to the sweet shop so I can eat a blooming jawbreaker or something."
But you could tell that like that's a real location. It's very lived in. All the
Yeah.
stories filmed on location, with the exception of things like the TARDIS and stuff like that. But the rest of it's all location. The supporting cast though, like we said, Don Henderson plays absolutely straight. Is brilliant in it. The rest of the cast, who should we pick on first?
Let's pick on Ray because of that god awful accent that I'm not being.
You don't think she's really Welsh?
No.
Do you think she was putting it on?
Yes, big
I
time.
don't believe you for a second. That's
It's-
my Norman Price's mum coming out there.
It's the fact she went from Norman Price's mum to some other. I'd quite say quite choice.
I don't know what
Accents.
she was. I think she was starting to blend into a few different types of accents by the end of it. I'm not entirely convinced that that's a Welsh accent, to be honest.
No, it's the different. Like the typical one for people to do is they try a Welsh accent and it does slip into an Indian one, which is what happened here.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna, like,
it was
it's-
quite questionable towards the end.
Yes.
To be fair,
Yes.
I think it was but it's just so over the top. I love the fact that she has like certain phrases that she just kept repeating as well. She kept going, "Oh, they were ionized." So good.
Oh, doctor!
Do you wanna know a little fun fact about Ray?
Go on.
Right. So obviously, season 24, Bonnie Langford, she's leaving.
Yes.
And she's contracted to the end of the season, but obviously we're going to need a replacement. So there were two people. Obviously, Ace was in the running, Sophie Aldred and Dragonfire. But there was an alternative universe somewhere where the other choice and the other person they were eyeing up was Sarah Griffiths as Ray. And she would have gone on to be the last companion of the classic series with McCoy. Can you imagine what that would have been like?
Oh, it'd have been insufferable.
Can you imagine something like Curse of Fenric, or like Ghostlight? And so, we have to face our fears on our own terms.
We get ionized.
Is that the Dalek? I beat the Dalek up in the baseball bat. I think that would have been...
Got any nitro 9, doctor?
But this is the thing. If this whole parallel universe thing is true, where like every
Oh, yeah.
every
No,
decision
this
of
has
it,
to be out there.
somewhere in the multiverse. There's season 25 and 26 with the Doctor and Ray, and I want to go to that universe and watch it. I think that'd be so funny. That'd be so funny.
It would definitely undercut the darker tones of McCoy's run.
I think
Because on paper, the actual whatever they can decide is the story for this,
It
it's
is.
actually quite a dark story.
Well, it's at the heart of it, it's these group of mercenaries trying to basically wipe out an entire race.
Yeah, and it would
it's-
stop at
it's-
nothing.
Yeah, and but even like bits of it where like they get all the tourists back on the bus ready to take off, and they just destroy the bus and kill all of the people on board, like for no reason. They weren't posing any threat to the Bannerman, but they were like, yeah, why not? And it's like, but that's horrific. But it is in a story where it's just laugh after laugh after laugh.
And then the music don't help that either, because the music in that, if I remember rightly, is quite happy and jolly.
Well, the music throughout the entire thing is weird. I have a lot of nostalgia because I remember hearing it so often on like a CD of bits of like 80s Doctor Who music, and I remember this, and it's very nostalgic for me. So I don't really have a problem with it, but I could see why people watching it would be like, "What on earth is this?"
Yeah.
I just think, and it is so like the extraness of the cliffhangers. You have that bit in the first one where you have the baby hatching, and Ray with the Doctor, we're not supposed to be in here, and they're only in like the laundry cupboard of like Barry Island's Butlins. It's just, you know, they're not like in a high security zone or something. You know, they're only in like a towel cupboard.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
If you find that jarring, we still have to talk about the green baby.
That poor child. I mean,
It's just clearly in a bloody onesie.
it's not even that. It's the fact that this poor kid, like, there's the first kid's like a couple of years old, like a toddler, and then the whole point is that she's aging like much quicker compared to humans. So she's played by about 4 or 5 different actors over the course of it, and all of them like getting less and less green paint as they go along. But imagine sort of being like 5 or 6 years old. Hey, guess what? Right? Guess what? Your mum and dad have done? We've booked you in to be on telly, and they're like, oh my god, what am I going to be in? Doctor Who? Oh, that's sick. Yeah, you're going to be painted green, and just occasionally just go for a bit, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the kids with the most amount of green paint will never look very happy. And by the end of it, like, she's basically a teenager.
No, especially after the one had a fresh obviously in a cutscene they'd repainted her face, and she just did not look
had
impressed.
An extra coat of green paint on at one
She
point.
just got a roller and went.
It's like, I'll
That'll
just reset. Can we just touch up her hair? Fix his hair. Oh, and we need another can of paint for the child, please. You never get that now.
No, God, no.
TV was better back in the 80s, man. It's funny as hell.
There's a lot more risk to doing it.
Interpret that how you like.
I didn't mean it. Hey! Oh no.
Can we also talk about one of the main methods to sort of weakening the Bannermen and distracting them is to go up to old Goronwi's house where he's keeping bees and making honey. These big space mysteries that have just happily blown up a bus full of tourists and everything and are hunting down people get a load of honey dropped on them. It's like something out of Chuckle Vision. All these shelves collapse, they're covered in honey, and then all the bees go after them. And they look terrible because it's all like superimposed onto the shot. They're all running around, and then you see them in like the final, like the climax and the big confrontation, and they've all got like spots where they've been stung by the bees. And it's so stupid.
It really
but
is.
It's so funny. But it's the way they're all running around, and it's like it does. Like I said, it's like something out of Chuckle Vision. It's so funny.
Oh,
we have other characters. We have Billy, who's poor Ray. Bless Ray. She's obviously got the hots for Billy, but he ends up going off with Delta and the Shimron princess.
Yes, drinks baby's food to turn himself into alien.
Yeah, he's been shooting up on the baby's like syringes, and he's starting to go. You could tell he's starting to change because his hair's slicked back and he's a bit shiny.
Yeah,
that's basically it.
Yeah, that is it. And then you get him in a white frock.
Oh yeah, he gets his own little white onesie at the end as well.
Yes,
Ray gets to keep the motorbike. The motorbike stuff. That's so funny because you didn't think there'd be a lot of padding in this story. It's only 3 episodes long, but there is, and that mostly consists of Sylvester McCoy looking absolutely terrified on the motorbike, where poor Bonnie Langford is being thrown around like a rag doll in the sidecar.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's so unnecessary. It's so like effortlessly funny because they're trying not to be. And I think they are like not trying to be as in like trying to make it serious, but like you could tell that people are going, this is daft. So let's just do it daft. Yeah. And I think if you tried to do this completely seriously, it would fail miserably.
Oh, heavily, yeah. It would be so dead.
It wouldn't work. But I think because everybody's having so much fun and they're having such a laugh with it, it does work. Because you get daft things like the bees, and you get Ray and her very over-the-top Welsh accent, mixed in with stuff like a bus full of alien innocent tourists being blown up. Completely ionized.
The tone is definitely all over the place with this episode.
Yeah. We haven't even mentioned Bert and the camp leader at Shangri-La. You're a group of spacemen being chased by another group of spacemen. Why do we all have space buds and tea? Which, if you watch this for a while, you remember that was a bit of a thing back in the first couple of videos. I think we should bring back space buds and tea.
Yes, yeah, we will. We just need some news to come out about stuff, because it's kind of dried up now that Doctor Who's back on our screens. Soon again, yeah.
I mean, we'll probably get some stuff in the next couple of weeks, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll have plenty, I'm sure.
I reckon there'll probably be some sort of trailer towards the end of next month, start of April.
Something showing how completely brilliant and superb everything is. Just like McCoy's cliffhanger in the second part of this.
Which is,
It's brilliant.
it's a really well written speech as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that he gives this big speech about like the white flag and how Gavrock, and he deals in murder and treachery and everything. And he's like, "Nah, we're going. We've had enough." And they wait for them to turn their backs, and you could just hear they all click the machine guns. And he's like, "Oh, hang on a minute. That's not going to work, is it? Because they're a bunch of murdering space mercenaries. They don't care about my little speech."
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It was one of those ones I think the writer was like, right, we need a cliffhanger here. What's a good go-to Doctor Who cliffhanger? Oh, the Doctor and co having guns pointed at them.
Yeah, Doctor in peril. Yeah, it is rinse and repeat.
But it's so funny.
The speech is so good.
But but if you look at that speech, it's a well written and it's a decent bit of monologuing from McCoy. But I just think the whole story is it's so funny. Like, do you understand now why I've gone on about when I'm sad or when I'm mad or when life's just feeling a little bit hard? You watch Delta and the Bannermen, everything is funny.
Yes, I might be
Everything
joining
goes
you
away.
on that one from now on, because I honestly haven't laughed that hard.
Do you know the hardest I've ever laughed at this is when I watched this drunk. I was on my own it was in the old flat, and I watched this after I got in from, I've been out with you actually, and we've got quite intoxicated, and I've gone back and I watched this.
Never, we don't do that.
No, we don't even drink. We want
No, yeah.
But I got back and I had my little takeaway, my cheesy chips, and I watched this, and I was like, there were tears rolling down my face because it's so funny. I can't stress to you how much. If you haven't seen this, please go and watch it. It's you got iPlayer, you got the box sets or whatever. Just put it on. It's an hour and a quarter, and it will make you feel it's like that healing properties that are in tea, but in Doctor Who form. I can't think of a more camp story than this.
Oh, it is so camp.
There's camp Doctor Who, and then there's Delta and the Bannermen. I can't quite think of anything that tops it in terms of that.
No.
I mean, all of season 24 is camp.
Yes.
But this is camp in the literal sense because they go to a holiday camp. Yeah, Paradise House is camp as well, to be fair.
Yes.
But this is camp because they go to a holiday camp. It's literally camp.
It is camp.
I've said camp to make sound out. Sounds weird. Camp.
It is camp.
I can't. I feel like it's one of those ones that I can't even review properly because I can't even break it down. Like when we looked at Full Circle, we were looking at the characters and everything. But this, it's like it'd be like trying to review an episode of Only Fools and Horses or something.
Yeah, you can't.
It's
you
just
can't
funny.
you can't take a serious tone with this because it's not serious itself.
No, and I think that
And it's never gonna be. It was written to be a dark story, but with all the shenanigans that happened, it is just bloody hilarious.
I think there are elements there of a story that would really work in terms of like the dramatic side of things, but you can't be doing that and then throwing jars of honey on the villains and having them being chased around by bees. Do you know what I mean? You can't defeat the system by the Doctor hooking up a PA system around Butlins and having a girl just scream into the microphone.
No.
What is this? View from the Deep? It just doesn't.
If you want that in South Wales, just go to a karaoke night.
And there are plenty of people around here that could probably put the Bannermen to sleep.
Yes.
And I love the fact that then they're all put to sleep and they all get tied up like Scooby-Doo. They're all tied up in little pairs and they're all on the floor like, oh, and they all look really like crestfallen as well. They're like, oh, we've cocked up here, haven't we? We're supposed to be terrifying and
They look like they're about to go. We would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for these meddling kids.
We would have got away with it if it weren't for these meddling CIA agents. And Weissmuller then looks at one of the Bannermen and says, "You gotta be the most sorry-looking bunch of Bannermen I've ever seen." And it's like, we've never seen them before. They're a bunch of aliens. What do you want about? It's so funny.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. And do you know there's also a very famous, well, I say very famous, it's quite niche really when you think about it, but I've heard it a few times, and that Gronwy is a future Doctor. Like a curator type.
Oh, right.
Because he's not phased by the TARDIS or anything, and he's sort of quite eccentric, isn't he? Gronwy is the Doctor. Fact.
Make it happen. With a young Gronwy. Obviously, have to start him off young and let him die at old age.
Well, that was a cheerful way to end
Yeah, just really happy.
Funniest story.
Yeah.
I've got no. I don't know what else to say about it. To be honest, I can't actually break it down more than that. That's the best I've got.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's yeah. It's there.
Go and
It's
watch it. This is one that I think once we hit another, we've got a couple of specials planned at some point through this year. I think a drunk commentary for this would be hysterical, but it would
Yes.
it might just be an hour and a quarter of us just laughing hysterically
Yes.
for the duration of the whole story.
Yes, we'll have to get rather drunk. So I'm not watching this sober if we're doing that. I'm not starting off sober. I'm starting off half cut at least.
Take a drinking game every time Ray says, "Oh, we've been ionized."
Every
God.
time Ray speaks in a shitty accent, just drink.
Do you think that this has done well for Welsh representation in Doctor Who, though?
No. It gets a lot better. It gets a lot better in the revival.
I mean, if you want Welsh Doctor Who, you've got The Green Death, but classic, or Delta and the Bannermen. I know which one I'm picking. Which side are you on?
Oh, just for sheer laughs, I will go down in the Bannerman.
I've never sat there and been full of joy at the end of The Green Death. I've sat there miserable. But Delta and the Bannermen, different story. So, if you've seen Delta and the Bannermen, let us know what you think. Let us know if you think we're right or if we just think we're completely daft and it's one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who of all time. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Come back. Let us know what you think. And please, there's got to be other people that find this as hilarious as we did. We can't be the only ones.
Yeah, I was genuinely hurting with laughter watching this.
It is good.
It was so good.
But that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with another discussion topic. And I think we're talking about Doctor Who historicals, which this
Yes.
is. So we're going to exclude that from the chat because it would be my favourite. But, and then we'll be back with some more Big Finish. Because everyone's been enjoying that. So thank you very much for the kind comments and your views on that. We are full steam ahead with that. We were supposed to be doing that a bit more sporadically, but we sort of can't really stop listening to them.
No, it's too engrossing.
I think we're about 7 stories ahead of what we're actually reviewing next as well.
Yeah. It's fine. Oh no, we're going to have to do a re-listen.
Oh, God.
What a shame. It's forced my hand. How will I ever recover? I know, Doctor Who.
Yeah, Delta and the Bannerman, you'll feel better. See you next week.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well.
Yeah.
If you want to see more of us. So yeah, see you next week. Have a good night. Thing.
I think it's time for some space buns and tea.
Yes.
Put a kettle on. I'll get the scones.
Yeah. Let's go.